think we froze up there.
How are y'all?
It's 3 o'clock. We remembered. Okay, we're still figuring this out. So if we click in, if we click on and off, you know that we're still figuring it out. Sorry about that. So we did remember though.
We did.
Okay, barely. I thought about it this morning when I was at the grocery store. So, no, I didn't. I thought about it before that when I was doing my live. So I remembered actually early. Anyway, this is the first time we're doing it live. Kenneth is super excited about that.
Very.
But last week when we told y'all we were going to start doing this, we asked y'all to give us some suggestions for names, and y'all did. So here are our choices. We have Tea Time with the Clemans, but T is spelled T-E-E.
Cool.
Golf reference. Kicking It with the Clemans. Heart of the Clemans. I like that one because we were going to keep everybody updated on Kenneth's situation. Roundup with the Clemans. Puttering with the Clemans. The Kleman Chatter. And White Horse Kitchen Chat. So
We'll decide. We haven't decided yet.
we have not
We
decided.
may just put them all in a bucket and pick one out. Who knows? We'll figure it out somehow.
That's true. That's true. But they're all good ones. So, what do you want to talk about today?
I don't know.
I don't either. We're so prepared. I guess we could tell y'all why someone probably put White Horse Chatter.
We could do that.
Kenneth loves when I tell this story. Y'all will get to know us better. So Kenneth and I met in 2090. Was it 99 or 98? I mean 1998 in December.
Yeah.
I was actually going through a divorce. Kenneth had been divorced for 9 years.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Somewhere in there. So it really was weird timing. But he gets mad at me because he remembers the dates better than I do. In March, is that right?
Yes.
In March, Kenneth proposed. So it was really, really fast, really quick. And like I said, I was going through a divorce, so very scary. But you know what? God's timing is not my timing. So, but the White Horse, when we were dating, I always called him my cowboy on the white horse. That was just, something would be going on and he would say, I'll be your knight in shining armor. And I always said, I don't need a knight in shining armor. I just need a cowboy on a white horse. And that just was kind of our joke. So when he proposed to me, I went over to his house and there were roses sitting on the front porch, and it had a note that said, follow the instructions, do exactly as it says. So I think it said, go in the living room. I went in the living room. He had written out, he loves when I tell the story, he had written out the words to a love song, and then it said, go in the kitchen. And there was a note and a rose on every step, and every note had the words to a different song written out. And then the last one said, there were 12 notes, 12 roses. And then the last one said, go out on the front porch. So I went out on the front porch. There was another dozen roses and a note that just said, wait. And so I stood there and I started hearing. Kenneth was riding down the street on a white horse, and he got off and proposed to me. So, how do you say no to that?
Still got it, guys. Don't be jealous. Don't be hating.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories. We even have a deal on our back porch that's metal art. I guess that's what you'd call it. And it's a cowboy on a horse bending down to kiss a girl and handing her a rose. And that's special to us. So there's your story about us today.
Yeah, top that.
Yeah. If you have a awesome engagement story, send it to us. We'd love to hear yours. On to your other stuff. I did get some messages with a couple of questions for you this week.
Okay.
So the first question I got, and I love, y'all are welcome to just put it on there, but if you're more comfortable messaging it to me, that is fine, whichever works for y'all. So the first question is, how old are you?
I just turned 56 last Friday.
Yeah, 56. So, and I tell y'all in my lives in the morning, I'm 58, so I'm a cougar.
Older women, guys.
The next question is, why? Can you sum up why you are trying to get on a heart transplant list? So we're going to sum that up.
We're going to sum that up. It's kind of a long story. We'll make it as short as we can. I've had a lot of doctors tell me that it goes back years ago, I was 24, I got electrocuted. I was an electrical lineman, worked on high voltage power lines, was electrocuted with 69,000 volts. At the time, we thought it just had messed up my back. I've had back surgery for that.
Several screws in your back.
Got some screws in my back. Then, when I was 39, I had my first heart attack.
Hang on just a second.
Oh,
Peekaboo,
yeah,
you got on there. That is our grandson, Kason.
Had to pick him up early from school today.
Yes, and he told me that he was not going to be on here, but he just got on there whether he wanted to or not. Do you want to say hi real quick, buddy? Come here and say hi real fast. Can you say hello? Hi. Lean this way so they can see you and see that handsome face. Look, look. There he is. Kason is our oldest grandson.
Yeah.
So, all right, buddy, you cannot be on it. I understand. Okay, sorry,
anyways, back to where we were. I had a heart attack when I was 39. Had some stents put in. I had another heart attack at 42. That's a whole other story.
That was the Widowmaker.
But I had quadruple bypass. Since then, I've had another 23 stents. I had another open heart surgery in 2019. And now my ejection fraction is down in the 20s. I have an enlarged heart. Just had some damage over the time, different heart attacks, the 8 of them that I've had. Just didn't do it a lot of good. So
yes, I have 24 stents.
Yeah, it was 24.
You said 23, but it's 24.
24 stents. Who's counting? But anyways, that's my story. I mean, it is what it is. It's all in God's hands. We'll always accept prayers from anyone. We just hope this process goes smoothly and in a timely manner. Like I say, it's all in God's timing. So
yeah, they told us this last time when he went to the hospital that his heart was enlarged, and it actually didn't need stents. We thought he was having another heart attack, but it was just because it was enlarged. So that has kind of been consistent since then. So that's why they told us last week that it was time to start this process. So we have one appointment scheduled so far for the MRI. Is that right? Sorry. We go on November 17th. We've been told that they will contact us to set up more stuff because they try and get as much done as they can in each visit. And we can look to go between 4, 5, 6 times. And then my understanding, if we both got this, is after that, if everything goes good there, it'll go before a committee of about 50 doctors, and they will decide if he gets on the list or not. Then if he gets on the list, it's just a waiting game. So that kind of sums it up. We can tell y'all some, I hate to say great stories. That is such an awful thing to say. We can tell y'all some funny stories about some of the heart attacks, including the one where he had his first open heart surgery. I don't know if y'all will think he's crazy or I'm a saint.
Do we want to tell that story?
Should we tell that story real quick, or should we start with the first one?
No, the first one wasn't that big a deal.
Well, it kind of was because you were hungry, if you remember right.
Yeah.
So we'll just tell you the first one, and then next week we can tell you the second one. You'll love that second one. But the first one, I was actually in Midland.
No, that was the second one.
Oh, that was the second one. Oh, I'm going to get these all confused.
You were at Littlefield.
I was in Littlefield. Yes, thank you. I was in Littlefield, and my dad actually called me. And we had just taken over the family business. We had bought it from my dad. He wanted to retire. 2 weeks?
No, it was probably about a month.
You think it was that long?
About a month.
Wasn't very long. Anyway, I got a call from my dad and said, hey, I'm not sure, but Kenneth is sweating really bad and he's having trouble catching his breath and I'm going to make him go to the hospital. And I was like, okay. I mean, in my mind, heart attack never even crossed my mind. He was 39 years old. He was not overweight. He was in excellent shape. I think, what was your, what do you call it?
Body mass index.
Yeah, what was that at that time?
It was like 14%.
Yeah, so, I mean, that just never even crossed my mind. So I'm like, okay, I'll head that direction. Well, Kenneth refused to go to the hospital, but he did agree to go to the doctor's office. So Dr. Carry-On in Shallowater, love
Actually,
him.
It wasn't Carry-On.
Oh, who was it? Oh, that's God. You need to tell this story. Gray. Dr. Gray. It has since switched.
Yeah.
So went to Dr. Gray, and I got to the clinic, and he said, look, I don't think he's having a heart attack. I mean, he has nothing that would lead me to believe he's having a heart attack. But I want him to go to the hospital and get checked. So he wanted to call him an ambulance. Kenneth flat out refused to go in an ambulance.
Makes no sense.
Well, we really were not thinking it was a heart attack.
Yeah.
So, is that when you started to get the stress test? Well,
Yes,
anyway,
it was.
before we get there, we're leaving the parking lot, and Kenneth's like, I'm hungry. I need to get something to eat before we go to the
I
hospital.
was hungry. I was
And
a
I was
growing
like,
boy.
No, we need to go to the hospital, get this checked, and then we'll get you something to eat. He's like, no, we're going to get something to eat before we go to the hospital. So by this point, I'm thinking, what is going on with my husband? So I throw that car in reverse. I back up to the doctor's office. I walk in the doctor's office, and I'm like, he wants to get something to eat. And the doctor goes, get him to the hospital, or I'm going to call the ambulance. So, and then tell them what happened with your stress test when we got to the hospital.
When they were getting me prepped and everything. We were trying to figure out what was going on. They were going to do a chemically induced stress test. And just as they were about to put the needle in, they had to, before this, to get back up, they had taken blood work and all this. They were fixing to put the needle in to do the stress test, and the nurse comes through the door and says, do not stick him with that needle. And said he is having a heart attack. So next thing I know, I'm in a cath lab. I'm under, and they put some stents in, and
Totally caught us off guard.
Yeah,
like that one and the second one probably rocked our world more than any of them. We just never in a million years.
I don't have high cholesterol. I don't have high blood pressure. It was just.
That's why the only explanation. You look so sad. You need to smile. And the only explanation they can come up with is possibly him getting electrocuted, that it caused some damage. So, I don't guess there's any way to know for sure.
No. Guys, don't be stubborn.
That is such good advice for you to be giving other guys, but he's right.
Yeah.
If you think something's wrong, go to the hospital. You always hear about these people who get test run and they find out that they've had heart attacks and didn't even know. Guys really are stubborn. So just go check. It's better to know, and you're not too young. Just get it checked. If that's not what it is, then wouldn't you rather know so you don't have to worry about it at all?
Very true.
You are getting heavy, buddy. He just had a birthday too. These two share a birthday.
We do.
This one turned 7, and this one turned 56. So,
yep.
my two favorite guys have birthdays on the same day.
Yep.
So Kaysen is our second oldest grandchild. Simbry's the oldest, and then Kaysen, and then my goodness, Landry, Kyla, Hadley. Then it would be Camry. Then Kenna. Then Hudson.
Yep.
Then Kaysen. No, Caden. Is it Caden? Caden. Caden was just born a couple of weeks ago. They're going to call him Cade. And then Cole is coming, I believe, in January. Okay. So we will have 10 of them. In fact, for our anniversary this year, Kenneth gave me a license plate for my car that says Lala 10. So I'm Lala and he's Pop. So anyway, you have anything else you want to share with them today?
Not that I know of.
Okay, I think we hit them pretty good with the
I
first
think-
one.
I
I
think
think
we
we
did.
unloaded a lot of information on y'all.
Yeah. Next
So-
week we can talk a little more maybe about the second one. That's the funniest one. And then maybe we can even get into kind of what we're doing and how Lori and I are surviving, working in the same house together all day. And
Yes, we both
I'm not crazy
were
at
done.
all.
The company that we sold, we were done the end of September. And so we are both working at home now. And I'll kind of sum it up by saying we made an office, got it all set up, and it took us about 2 days to figure out we needed 2 offices. So we cleaned out our guest room and created another office. So
On the
we can-
other side of
on
the
the
house.
other side of the house.
Yeah.
So we can kind of separate and do our thing. We don't need to be, I mean, even though we worked at the same company, my job was kind of a come, get everything done and go, and his was out with the employees. So it's not like we were together all day long, and being in the house all day long
I
together.
love her. I do, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that's ditto. So, anyway, thanks for hopping on today and joining us. We really do appreciate it. Kason, can you smile at least once and say goodbye?
Bye.
All right, we will see y'all next Tuesday at 3 o'clock. And please, we're going to run out of topics eventually. So, y'all shoot us some questions, give us some ideas. If you have any more names that you think might be good, let us know those. And we'll see y'all next Tuesday. God
See
bless.
y'all later.
I don't think he stopped it yet.